Hi, my name is Farhina Puri, and I'm here to share our family's journey with mental illness and addiction. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Humber College for showcasing Lilly's video. Mental illness affects 1 in every 5 Canadians. Mental illness affects people from all races, cultures, education levels, and economic backgrounds. Unfortunately, to get a diagnosis of mental illness is very hard to do. Lilly was diagnosed at the age of 16. There's a lot of stigma that comes with mental illness and addiction. The parenting is flawed. The child is too spoiled. Is there really a problem? There's a lot of stigma out there with therapy. I hope this video of Lilly's journey inspires those who need help to go out and seek help. I pray and hope this video brings families together, communities together. When Lilly was going through her struggles, we felt very alone and outcasted by the community. I pray this video gives you empathy to deal with people that are going through mental illness and addiction. It is a disease. It is a disease like cancer. It is a disease like autism. It is a disease. It is a disease where communities have to come together. It is a disease where mental health practitioners and providers need to come together. I thank you for taking the time out to view Lilly's video. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lilly Puri. I am 19 years old and I am currently a psychology student at Georgia State University. I love to dance. I actually danced for a Raptors halftime show, probably one of my biggest accomplishments in life. And I love burgers. I could survive on burgers. My life before mental illness began was still very different. I don't know, I always felt different than the other kids on the playground. Like, I always looked at other people and resented them because they were always so happy, and I just didn't really know how to get that. So there was no mental illness word for that at that time, but I always kind of knew that something was different for me and the other kids. I think the worst time I had with my mental illness was in 2017 when I was sent to a place for mental illness. It was like a hospital, and I was in there for a couple days, and that feeling of hopelessness, like, that's something I would never wish on anybody. That was one big time. And another time was in Ottawa when I had an overdose and I woke up in a hospital and everyone around me just wish I'd never woke up. That was one of the worst times ever. I think what changed in my life potentially because of mental illness is my relationships. I could never have a proper relationship with my family. I could never give back a gift that I was given because I never thought I had a gift, and that was one of the biggest things that was wrong. I think the only thing that stayed constant in my life was my family. My mom, my dad, and my sisters. The love that they had always stayed the same. I may not have acknowledged it, but it was always there, and it was always constant, and it always stayed the same. All the time, all the time. I could be having a good day, but I'll know, like, there's certain issues that I have that I need to keep on working on, and it's like a constant journey. It's not like take a couple pills and it'll be okay, or go to a couple therapy sessions. Like, no, it's a journey that I have to keep on working on and building on to live a happy life. Really realizing what my worth is in this world, and that I do have a lot to give back if I tried, and really engaging in activities that make me happy. Like dance makes me so happy, being around my family makes me so happy, and really when I don't feel like it, pushing myself to do it. Because when I don't feel like doing something, that's like #1 indicator that I need to be doing it. My path to recovery and remission has been very bumpy. It started in grade 8 when I first picked up a knife, and from there it was just fights between myself, my friends, my family, and I just felt so attacked, not knowing that everybody was just trying to help me. And from there it was probably a list of like hundreds of therapists and medications that we went through to find the right one, find the right fit for me. And from there, I think all the way from grade 8 to now, first year university, I can finally say I'm happy and I'm stable with the medication I'm on and the therapist I'm seeing and the things I'm doing in life for myself. So it's a journey. It's a journey. My greatest accomplishments, I never thought I could make it through school, and now I have a 4.0 GPA at Georgia State University in an honors psychology program. I never thought it was possible to have a connection with my family, and I can say I'm so happy today, and my family's my best friend. I have 5 best friends, and I'm so happy for that. I think some helpful ways that people supported me through mental illness was just supporting me, you know, like having my back with stuff, not being degrading, not talking down to me like, oh, you're crazy, you're psycho, get over it, be happy. You have all of this in the world to be happy around, to be happy about. I think really like validating where I'm coming from and acknowledging that there is a problem and that you can't just wish it away, and like working with me and showing me that unconditional love and support. I think another really big thing that affected me with stigma was family members not really understanding and not really being accepting or supporting with all of that. So that's one big way stigma has affected me. I don't really think my friends understood. You know, I was kind of the odd bunch with everybody. For them, it was really just a phase, but for me, I would take things to the extreme. Like, it wouldn't just be one drink. It would have just been like, one time I'm unhappy. It's like every day I would go home and I would be unhappy, and it was just different, and it really did cause a drift in my friendships and relationships with everybody because I wasn't working on myself. God writes straight with crooked lines. Okay? I think that saying really hits home for me. I can look back at my life now, and in moments where I really saw my mental illness, I would be like, it's over. My life is over. There's no point, no reason to live. And now I can look at it and see that all of those moments were just like another step in my journey to get up to where I need to be. And it's really like God has my back. God did not bring me this far to just drop me on my butt. God has my back, and everything is a plan, and having faith in my higher power has really helped me, and believing the people around me, because I'm my own worst critic and everybody sees better than I can see myself. I think one thing I could say to decrease the stigma is the saying HOW, the acronym HOW, which is honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Be honest with yourself that there is a problem. Be open that there is a problem, and being willing to solve that problem in your community, in your house, anywhere. Like, those are 3 things that you can do on an everyday basis to kind of decrease the stigma with mental illness, because it does exist and it is real. Take away the emotional part, there's a whole scientific part that backs up mental illness, and just really like accepting that it is there and working on how to fix it is going to change the problem more than ignoring it will.
My name is Farhina Puri. We have 4 daughters, and we live in Atlanta, Georgia, from Toronto, Canada. It was absolute 120% denial that no, not our family, you're making something bigger than it is. It's just a child acting out any excuses you could think of. That was my first reaction. Things got worse. The more I fought and the more I was making excuses, the more deeper in the pit I got. So it was just, it started and it unraveled like a sweater unravels, and it was out of control. What stayed the same was our family became just stronger as a unit. The 6 of us got closer than ever because we could only depend on the 6 of us. The first was talking to the school counselors, going to the pediatrician, getting help, keeping open-minded to counseling. We went through many psychiatrists and psychologists before we found a fit. They're a dime a dozen, so it's, who understands the dynamics of the family, who understands the culture, who understands where we're coming from. It was, I would say, a 5-6 year journey before we found the right individuals and the pieces fit. It's not where you say, okay, I'm going to do this, and everything will be okay. It is a journey. In hindsight, I wish I would have been more proactive and not been in that bubble of, no, not our family. I wish we would have listened to one of the counselors earlier and one of the teachers and been like, no, this is not just a child acting out, there's some serious issues. But again, that, no, not my child, not our house. We're that perfect family from the right side of the tracks. We've done the PTA meetings. We do the religious part. I wish we were not in denial, and I wish we were more proactive in getting her the help that she needed. I wish I would have gotten that pat on the shoulder, it's going to be okay. I wish there were people that could share their stories. I wish there was guidance as far as therapists and where to go. And I wish we had a group like AA or Al-Anon or the rehab group where we could speak about these. And I think what's really great about this rehab group is the parents and the kids are both involved. So that way our kid knows we're serious about this, we're here to help. So I wish there was that, even as I said, that pat on the shoulder. I wish we had that. Or a hug. Absolutely. In the beginning, I would hear mental illness and it would be just a thought. Oh yeah, not us. The stigma behind it, that it's wrong parenting. It's parents that don't care. It's families that are not there for each other. All of that, yes. Living with mental illness is living with a lifelong disease, or it's a lifelong journey. So my one thing I would say to everyone out there is be open, keep reading, keep studying, keep acquiring knowledge. Today things are great, shukr. Tomorrow they can get really bad. So be prepared. We need to have that open dialogue between peers, between university students, between high school students. It's not a joke. It's not where you come and talk about it and it's just a 5-minute conversation. It's a very serious issue, and I think we need trained, serious volunteers that can actually be there to touch people in the community. I'd like to introduce my daughter, Lilly Puri. She is the second of 4 daughters. Lilly is empathetic, she's generous, the biggest heart that I know. And she's very, very intelligent, knows tidbits about everything.
I would like to introduce my mother, Farhina. My mom is one of the best cooks. She knows everything about everything. She could tell you small facts about things you didn't even know exist, and she's a bit of a funky driver. I think for me, our first conversation was a lot of fear, but a lot of relief at the same time. Fear as in what's going to happen next, and relief that this big secret that I've been carrying with me for so long, I can finally get help for it.
I remember myself angry. Why, Lily? Why is it this way? Because there was a lot of denial, a lot of fear. And then I remember evolving to just immense love, that no matter what, we got this. We're going to get through it. So there was an array of emotions is what I remember. It's anger, fear, love. And at the end of it, I just remember telling myself, you love her. You brought her in this world. You love her. And that's all you have to work through this. So I didn't know how to be honest with her. I didn't know how to have that honest dialogue. It was a lot of, oh, it'll be okay. And we're not really addressing the situation. I didn't want to say something that would tip her. I didn't know what I could say, what I couldn't say. So it was just very unsure time in the beginning.
I think for me, one thing I really wanted to really convey to my parents is that I was sorry, and really put an emphasis on that. I felt like in the moment when that time period was going on, like all the sorries that I said couldn't really like amount up to anything and didn't have any weight behind them. And another thing is just letting you guys know that it wasn't your fault. I could never pinpoint a problem of why I felt the way I did, and that was one thing I like really wish I could just like scream on top of my lungs and help you guys understand. But I think like throughout the journey we kind of figured out that there doesn't have to be one thing that you have to pinpoint. It could be a number of things, and that's just how mental illness works. Watching the language. And when I say that, I mean, as family members, you'll make jokes about, oh, that person's crazy, or that person's stupid, or that person's psycho, and watching movies and making fun of mental illness, like not even realizing it. So in the back of my head, I was like, I can never come clean with what's going on with me because I'll be the crazy person in the family. So I think that's one thing I wish would have changed is the language.
When she had moved away and I got a gut feeling that something is just not right, I would have these immense stomach pains. I would be worried. And I took a flight and went up to Ottawa. And I told my husband, she needs us. There's something definitely wrong here. And I remember when I found out about, through mental illness, the drug abuse, the overdose that had happened. And I remember praying. I remember saying Salvat, that's all. I remember saying Nandili. And when I heard her phone, when she called me, in the past I would have yelled, but somehow I got the strength to just be very calm and say, come home. It's not the end of the world. It's a hiccup. We're going to fix this. We're going to figure it out. And if it wasn't for Salvat, Nandili, just praying, I remember my tasbih, I don't think I would have been calm. Because normally my instinct would have been to yell at her and what. But I was so calm, I surprised myself, and it was just, come home, Lily. We're going to fix this. Just meet me. It's a hiccup. It's not the end of the world. And that's what I remember.
Communication. And with communication, I would like to talk about the acronym CRAP. It stands for Communication Resolves All Problems. And that is one thing that has really helped me in a relationship with you is communication and compromise and really understanding where you're coming from instead of just taking it as you're attacking me because, you know, you're a mom. You do know what's best.
Empathy, love, respect, knowledge. You have to go out and seek knowledge. No one's going to come with this binder of mental illness 101 for dummies. I wish there was such a thing. But knowledge, you're always in search for knowledge. And I don't know if I said open communication, but open communication. There's nothing today that Lilly could come to me and say that would shock me and rattle my world. I'm beyond all of that. I'm in that listening mode now, that when she comes to me, I listen, and then let's make a plan. How are we going to resolve this? How are we going to overcome this?
I think with stigma, there's two different types. There's a social stigma and then there's a self-perceived stigma. And I think the social stigma kind of revolved around my mom's friend group. And when I did come back, it was, what are they going to say? How are they going to react to me not being in school? Because that was a big thing. And with the social thing, it definitely fed into the self-perceived stigma that I'm not good enough and I've let my family down because we're not this picture-perfect family anymore. And God forbid anybody finds out that the Puri household is slowly crumbling. And I think like together, the six of us as a unit have like really like come together, and we are a power that cannot be reckoned with. Just like family and love, and like you can't fight family and love. And I think like we really have helped everybody get over the whole stigma thing and really stand as a unit that can show others and teach others that it's okay if you have problems. Catching ourselves in the moment, because I'm guilty. I contribute to stigma. Like I will look around and I'll be like, look at that person. Like, look at how they're dressed. Like, look at what they're wearing, and be like, Lily, like you're in no place to judge anybody. And really just understanding that nobody in this world is perfect, and our imperfections are what make us perfect. Whether it's a revolving stigma, whether it's a revolving a disability, whether it's revolving how you look, or if you have like hairy legs or haven't gotten your eyebrows done, like. It doesn't matter. Like if we all come together and like really be a force so we can love and respect each other, then there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that.
Exactly a year and 4 months ago, we almost lost Lily. She was fighting for her life. And today we have her. We're blessed to have her. And we've both done a lot of inner work, and we've both done a lot of forgiving, and we wouldn't be here today without being open-minded, the love that we have. And there's so many angels that came from the therapists, from the doctors, a lot of angels that came through our life. And I thank all of them for being here, because she's here today. And don't give up. Don't give up. It is a struggle. It's really an abyss. You feel lonely, but don't give up on your child. You will make it through.